I dance on that music as I create it, right? So I do feel how it's moving through my body.
Being authentic and being as we are in life is always a really good transmission, because
Yes.
above all, I think accessibility and making everyone feel like ecstatic dance can be a place for them to come, and where they feel invited, where people feel invited and welcome as they are. And hence the no makeup Sunday morning look. How did you first come across ecstatic dance? Not as a DJ,
Yeah.
but as a human.
Actually, my therapist uh, introduced me to a practice called Five Rhythm, which is uh, one of leading practices of ecstatic dance in the world. And I found an ecstatic dance event, and it was in a church, and it was a shock for me first, because people were like, there was no way of dancing. Everybody was dancing their own way.
Mm.
And I felt really uncomfortable in the beginning.
I see a lot of, yeah, expansion is my word of the day, I guess.
Me too.
Expansion in ecstatic dance across the world. And especially in Cyprus, I find that it's just been this complete explosion in the last couple of years. We started in 2020 a little bit underground during the pandemic, and there was already, I think the pandemic just really brought us all into our bodies with music, and we realized how much we wanted to dance everywhere, wherever you were in the world. And it was beautiful to see that that also carried through here. And now it's just, wow, becoming such a wave.
Actually, when dance came into my life, I realized actually dance is therapy, is medicine. If I'm not dancing in my life, I ask myself the question, what needs to happen? What needs to shift in my life to be dancing?
That's a really, really great point. And I'm just wondering, do you know when you stopped dancing? Because we all come as little dancers into the world, don't we? Like, I was watching a little child the other day, it must have been like 1.5, just moving, to this music. And I thought, when do we stop dancing?
Yeah. I don't know the exact moment, but I have a feeling I know why. Uh, what happened to me, and I think many of us, as we grow up in this world, we start developing a biased view of our bodies and our relationship to our bodies, and we start developing shame, and and uh, and we feel judged, right? Because we are uh, told that we're supposed to dance in a specific way,
Mm.
and when we put limits and structure for how we want to dance, we disconnect from our body and we start connecting with our mind. And you
Mm.
start asking yourself the question, am I dancing in the right way or in the wrong way? And eventually you stop dancing. That's what I think what happened to me.
Mm.
Ecstatic dance, in contrast, removes all the restrictions.
Mm.
You dance as you wish, as your body wants, not your mind. So part
Mm.
of the practice is to uh, turn off the mind and trust the body and connect with the frequency and the vibration, and essentially connecting with yourself, right? I mean,
Mm.
at the end of the day, it is a self-connection practice.
Absolutely. It's a very deep meditation, I find as well, because you catch yourself constantly in this conversation with your mind. And I also think it's a lot about acceptance. There comes this point, I think for me, it must have been sort of in my early 20s or something, where dancing became all about fitting into the
Mm.
way others were dancing in a club, or dancing in a specific way in order to seem attractive. I think for women, that's a real theme, and to not really be able to dance authentically from whatever strange move may come out because I needed to fit into this box. Certainly for me, the journey has been about throwing off all of that and being like, okay, let's come into acceptance with me, Alexia, first of all, and completely let go of the need to look or be any specific way. And that took a lot of overcoming. But for me, the music really helped. And I wanted to ask you about that on your journeys as a DJ. When you're making this music, there are a lot of variations in the, that's why we call it a journey, in the set itself. It's not just one color, one flavor, one texture. So what is your process in that when you're crafting this set? How does it work for you?
For me to really flow and develop this music experience, I needed a structure that can give me safety. So I developed a method called the Orion Method that has these 5 phases. First one is arrival. You welcome with welcoming frequency so people can feel safe. And then you move into a phase called the emergence, where it's about shifting the inner energy, creating tension, essentially emerging or crystallizing what the body needs to release. Then we move into a phase called expansion, where think about it as a fire, the climax where we are expressing ourselves, and this is where we have the release. And when these emotions have left the body, then we move into the elevation phase, where we connect with the joy, we integrate what happened to us, and then we move into self-connection and unity with the group. I have the structure. I source music that fits in each of these phases. And now every time I listen to any music, automatically I have this framework in my mind that kind of categorize these tracks into where they should fit in the mix. Each track is measured or rated on a number of attributes. So, for instance, one attribute is feminine, masculine. Another one is smooth or chaotic, because sometimes we need to increase the level of chaos to shake certain energies in the body. Is it a music that create solitary? You want to be with yourself, or the contrary, tribal? You want to kind of merge with the energy of tribe. So there's a number of attributes that each track is measured on that, and then it becomes a Lego exercise where I'm connecting each track to the other to make sure we move maybe from a feminine, go to the masculine, to the release, and come back to the feminine. Maybe we start with smooth, we go back to the chaos, and we bring it back to the smooth. We start with the sacred, and then eventually after the release, we move into the playful. So I start stitching these tracks together. That's the work of the mind. But then underneath all of that, there's the feeling. So I use my body and dance, because I dance on this music. I mean, to be honest, I think I'm doing this as an excuse for me to dance. It is a healing arc that enables you. And through that arc, that experience, sometimes you need to go inside and feel your energy. And sometimes you need to become one with the tribe.
So it follows these different like stages of being. It's a bit like a language to express whatever is going on right now in your life, or even that you're moving through some change that is expressed rather than using words with the body through different types of melodies and rhythms.
Yeah, the body has a lot to say. It's much more than words, and words are limiting, and the body is wise. The body knows what it needs. So it's also becomes a practice of trusting, of self-trust. Sometimes I follow the tension in my body, like my body where I have tension. I sit in front of a computer a lot of my time. I don't do as much yoga as you do. It becomes like following the tension, and that eventually it's like a roadmap of what needs to be released.
There are parts in the set that I know are needed and necessary for my own journey through the set to have its cycle of completion. So if they were removed, it would not be the same for me. Yet they feel sometimes just, ooh, here we go with this hard part. There are pieces within the set that are like, whoo, yeah, my body knows what to do here, and it just moves by itself, and I'm suddenly having all this energy, and I'm jumping up and down, and I'm like super joyful, and my heart is opening. And then there are parts where I'm like, to do with this, and then coming full circle and be like, no, no, come on, let's be with this now. How does this feel in your body, and how do you translate that to move?
My role as a DJ is to make sure that I create the experiences so that your body moves in all possible ways. That's why there's chaos, and that's why sometimes you might be dancing on a music that your mind might not like. So you have to let go whatever you believe is good music in order for you to completely surrender to these vibration. Sometimes, like, I had experiences where, especially now as I learn about mixing, like I go to ecstatic dance and my mind start going, well, this is not good. And then I realize, okay, well, this moved me out of the experience. So I have to let go my judgments and trust that the frequencies that are produced are here to guide me on a journey.
Amazing. I'm so glad that you brought this up, because I think it's such an important part of the ecstatic dance experience, and also of our human experience.
We're not working on the ear level, we're working on the whole body level. And your body, actually, although you have ears that listens, actually the whole body can able to capture these frequencies and these vibration. So it's not only about sound, it's about vibration.
Amazing. Yes, that resonates so true as well. And we are stepping more and more into the age of frequency. And I think that's why music is such a, and ecstatic dance is such a connection point for so many people in their journeys. Yeah. This sound journey, this music journey through an ecstatic dance set is like really like a microcosm of life. We flow through those different stages and we have those different experiences, and it's not always going to be vibrating at that super high joyful frequency. It's going to take its dip, and then how do I come to that? So it's a practice in a way, coming into the ecstatic dance and embracing the parts of the journey that are maybe a little bit more difficult or don't quite resonate where I want or expect to be in my mind, and just sitting with what is as it is and just feeling into it and letting my body show me. And that makes the whole experience so rich and so transformative, because then you go through the whole circle of things. And I find that super important, and you do that very, very well. So yeah, I really enjoy those journeys with you. Can you give us a bit of just a bit of a hint of what inspires you?
I think what inspires me is knowing about myself through this process. Is for me, it's a self-discovery process. When I create things like this, it's like a mirror to myself. I rarely reuse tracks from previous mixes because I'm always like changing myself.
You have themed your last or the set that you sent through the other day, you shared with me, very much like I theme my yoga classes too, around a specific subject. Is this something that you want to share further on, or just surprise everyone?
So the name of the set is She Dances in the Fire, and it is a devotional offering to Mother Kalima, who is an Indian goddess that you're probably familiar with. I'm sure you're familiar with. That is about burning your illusions, burning your ego. So she uses fire as a way to come and get you to see the world as it is. And she's been with me for the last few months. Very grateful to have this connection with her. It's an offering to Mother Kalima, and there's the set ends with a prayer for her.
Beautiful. And so just so aligned also with the energy of summer solstice, which is so much about the central sun and the fire and activating those different parts within the human body. And I think That definitely does that. Mm.
So for me, this process is about play
Mm.
and experimenting, and so that's and this is what dance is about, right? It's about play. You know,
Mm.
it's you can you know it's a very joyful way to expand, to heal, to grow. You know, think about it. You can go and sit in a room with a therapist for 20 hours, or you can go do an ecstatic dance for an hour and a half, and you get similar benefits. It is about integrating, making growth and healing a lighter process.
Definitely, definitely. I think that's such an important element and component that we don't give enough weight to allow ourselves to explore the healing through more of a process of bliss and joy. And that can also be a pathway. It doesn't always have to be the, you know, heart-wrenching depths of despair to move through that we all have way enough of in life anyway. And also,
Yeah.
it's just such a beautiful time to just reset and say, okay, you know what? I've had a super hard week, or I've had a super hard month. And now I'm going to go and I'm just going to enjoy myself. And yeah, this is so important. I know that what you actually do in your life as a job or vocation, or it is I think a form of calling for you as well. From what I can see, it's not just something that you do for the sake of doing it. Feels quite different in many ways to doing the ecstatic dance journeys. And I'm just wondering how those two are, you know, manifesting within Tony, you know, and what that means to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Alexia, for this question. And first, I'm grateful for this opportunity to play. Thank you for giving me that opportunity. My day-to-day job is I run a technology company, a mission-driven company called Oyster, on a mission to reverse brain drain and reduce wealth inequalities by democratizing access to global job opportunities. So it's a pretty intense job. My team is in 70 countries. We are a fully distributed organization, traveling the world for a remote work, future of work, where people can have opportunities from everywhere. And since I started developing ecstatic dance experiences, I realized actually there's a lot of similarities between the two, because my role as a leader is to hold space for these energies in the organization to move and to shift. And it's also about intentionally shifting the energy, shifting the tempo. If I want to increase the tempo higher, we need to go. It's about moving fast, then we are in a climax phase, but you cannot stay in the climax phase for too long. Otherwise, people become tired, and so you have to bring them down into a more regenerative phase to be able to come back up. So I'm finding a lot of similarities between these two practices.
Wow, beautiful. I've loved everything we've talked about, and obviously all the messages that we've had going back and forth about a number of really interesting things. So it's been really beautiful to connect to you and to be able to, you know, share this experience of the summer solstice. And I'm really glad that you said yes and you're coming, and, you know, that you're excited too. And I think it's just going to be this lovely opportunity to explore, you know, the canvas of possibilities for everyone in the dance and in general, and the vibrations that are around us right now.
Looking forward to the 21st.
Amazing. Yes.